What's going on, everybody? I have today with me Clyde the Weeaboo because we are about to discuss something that could possibly be fucking very huge for the future of Bleach as a whole. And of course, Clyde is with me because he is also a massive Bleach fan.
So yeah, thanks for having me on, James. James and I haven't made a video for a long ass time, and this is obviously a pretty interesting subject to talk about, hence the seriousness around it, and that's why we're collaborating on said subject. So do you want to give them the quick little rundown?
Right, the rundown is, and I wouldn't have taken any notice of this if obviously Clyde didn't hit me up because I did glance over it and I missed it. But the Arc System, the company that basically made Dragon Ball Fighter Z, is kind of promoting this website, which could be a third party or an inside party that knows how things work, and is basically saying, hey, here's a poll. We want to do another game. Which IPs or intellectual properties of franchises which could potentially be a worldwide hit, which they specifically said these series are worldwide hits. That's why they threw in things like Fairy Tail and Full Metal and stuff like that. And they said basically, which would you like to see get the Arc System treatment? Of course, we have a good number of series on there, and as of right now, thankfully for the push of many people on Twitter, including Clyde and me, we managed to get Bleach on top, beating out JoJo by 200 points at the moment, which is good, but we want more, because if this can get the PlayStation 4 game that everybody in their fucking mother has been wanting for ages since 2011, because people complaining about Bleach Brave Souls only being a mobile game, whatever that means, even though it brings in millions a fucking week, and obviously complaining that there's no anime and stuff like that, then here is your choice.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest thing for Bleach, because it's obviously not getting marketed by Shonen Jump. It's not getting pushed in Japan at all whatsoever. To an extent, it is what people say. It is kind of dead in terms of marketability. Yeah, people have been asking for a Storm-type Bleach game for a while. This isn't exactly that, but it is the next best thing. It'll be a PS4 game, and it will be a game that's very similar to Fighter Z, because it's going to be made by the same studio. And the benefit with this situation is that the actual studio that made Fighter Z are the ones who advertised this actual poll. They retweeted it on their official Twitter, and they did like the eye emoji saying that they're looking at the said poll. So if Bleach was to stay up on there for, I don't know, whether it's a week or 2 weeks, it doesn't actually have an end date on when this poll ends, but if Bleach stays up the top, there is a possibility that we might get a game. And the reason why we're hammering this into your into your heads is because, like I just said, there's no actual avenues for Bleach to get a game other than this and maybe another poll in the future, but this is an official one that's been recognized by a company that does make PS4 like AAA fighting games, so this is a pretty big fucking deal. So if Bleach was to win, I mean, I wouldn't mind if JoJo's won too, but we need to get Bleach on this, because Bleach is never going to get another game unless the anime comes back. That's the only time we're ever going to get a PS4 or any sort of a AAA game for Bleach, so this is the last chance. So like James just said, I'd say go to the description, make an account on the website. You need to make an account to vote for the actual poll itself, and continue to get Bleach up there, because unless other YouTubers jump on this and advertise other anime, there is a big chance we might get a Bleach game. So yeah.
And I want to say, we are not saying that Bleach deserves it. Well, we are actually, but we're not saying that Bleach is better than JoJo or My Hero or One Piece or Hakusho, Naruto, anything like that. Realistically, JoJo, My Hero, all the fucking IPs on here, 90% of them have ongoing animes or have ongoing popularity, where the chances of them getting a PlayStation 4 game is pretty much indefinitely possible, right? So My Hero just literally had One's Justice. One Piece keeps splurging out games every year. JoJo is literally getting another anime.
Well, someone replied to one of my tweets saying, like, dude, are you implying that, like, Bleach deserves a game over these other anime? And the point that I made with the tweet was, I'm not saying Bleach deserves a game over these anime, but the fact of the matter is, these animes are always going to get video games. One Piece is getting a new game. It's not obviously going to get games until the end of fucking time. So is JoJo's, with a new anime coming out and most likely another game in the future. And My Hero, like, it's one of the biggest new series in Shonen Jump. It's going to get video games regardless of this poll or us pushing this actual poll itself through this video and tweets. So the reason why we're pushing Bleach is because this is probably one of the only chances for a Bleach game to ever come out. Unless the anime comes back, you ain't never getting a fucking Bleach game on the PS4. Like, you can just kiss that goodbye.
Look, there is 3 chances you can get to vote for 3 different series, and I'm not saying, like, don't vote for your favorite series, but let's be realistic here. You will get your game if your favorite series isn't Bleach and it's One Piece, for example. You're going to get a game regardless of what you do in life, regardless if you drop it, regardless of whatever. Like, you've got 10 more years of fucking One Piece most likely, and like that's like 20 more different games. Let's put away our pride and selfishness alone and just say, let's have a fucking Bleach game. I think it's well deserved at this point. We're getting this movie which could, potentially flop or succeed.
Even the Japanese fans, I've seen some translations for Japanese comments in the comment for the new live action trailer, and there's a lot of actual Japanese fans that are saying, hey, why didn't you just make a new season of the anime? So that's what I'm saying. Bleach, once again, doesn't necessarily deserve a game more than any of the others on this list, but the fact of the matter is, like, regardless of who you vote for, you're going to get a game from most of the animes on the list. Like, they're going to get their own games outside of Arc Systems. Like, even if Arc Systems doesn't make a JoJo's game, you're going to get a future JoJo's game from Namco Bandai, and same with Naruto. Like, wouldn't mind a Naruto Arc Systems game, but the chances are it's going to get another 5 to 10 more games for the next 10 years. That's just the fact of the matter. But
look at the promotion for Fighter Z. Look how well it did. Look how much it defeated Marvel vs. Capcom. Look how much it's like the biggest tournament game of this year, or even last year.
It's the most sold Dragon Ball game of all time, and it's a fucking 2.5D fighter. Like, no one was really expecting a game like that to do so well, but it was marketed extremely fucking well.
So with the hype of the live action movie and even Brave Souls, as you could say, let's get another game out there. Let's spiral this hype. Let's get it going. Let's show that there's a market that really wants Bleach, and let's get Shonen Jump to promote more promotion in their magazine. And they go, do you know what? Fucking hell, Bleach is still popular and there's still a fucking market here. We know that there's still a market, but let's hammer that even more. Let's show that the fans want this and get Shueisha to get off of their ass and be like, okay, do you know what? Fuck it. Here's your PS4 game, and let's fucking see it get as hype as well, not as much as Dragon Ball, but let's see it get at least close to that, because it's gonna happen. Like that's with this company in development.
Well, there's another thing to add too. So when it comes to the manga of, like, a lot of mangas over in Japan, like, as a Western audience, we can't really influence it, but when it comes to the video games, we can, because Dragon Ball FighterZ sold huge in the West, and Bleach is more popular in the West than it is in Japan. And the reason I say this is because the best example is when Kubo came to the USA, he literally said more than once, he's like, I can't believe how big Bleach is in the USA compared to in Japan. Like, he was blown away. And it's because the fact of the matter is, like, Bleach is huge in the West, but not so much in Japan.
Well, and as well as in 2013, a year after Bleach had ended, it was the third biggest, most selling series in TV Tokyo, and the fourth biggest grossing series for TV Tokyo in 2013, and that's a year after Bleach had ended. And that was because 30% of that market was coming from international waters, being the US and the UK and whatnot. So let's be honest here, the international sales does make a big fucking difference, and if we can get this game made, I think it can definitely create a spiral effect and actually get something going on. It's really just the fact of the matter. If you want this series to do well, if you want it to come back, you as the audience need to provide that information. You need to provide that there is a want and a need, and if you don't, then obviously Bleach is not going to proceed on any further.
And the benefit with Bleach is that compared to, like, My Hero or Hunter x Hunter, is that these characters, pretty much every single one of the big characters in Bleach, they have such a huge, like, list of abilities which could be used for movesets, and there is also the benefit that in the future we could get Quincy's as DLC, which would be pretty fucking badass for a PS4 game. So
didn't they do that for Dragon Ball Super? What? That's crazy.
And yeah, I would definitely shill out for the Star Knights and, time skip Grimjail to say. But anyway, alright, so that's all I've got to say for this. Just go make an account, go vote for Bleach. You can also vote for 2 other series, so you don't just have to vote for Bleach.
So another question you might be asking before we end this video is, how legitimate is this, besides obviously the fact of the Arc System guys on Twitter obviously notifying and obviously acknowledging it? What is something else that tells me that this is legit is because we briefly spoke about on the website, it says about J-Stars and how they want to do that, but of course talking about and obtaining such as many IPs would be such a difficult task, and they said that they will go on and make a new post about that at a later date, and talking about how they are going to license individual IPs for now tells me that these are definitely guys in the back burner, in behind the scenes, that have the connections to be able to license such IPs. So if you wanted a little bit more clarification on that, they obviously know what they're talking about. They obviously are in the business of licensing or have people within their their circle that can license. So just to throw it out there, that to me, this seems like a legitimate thing. Whether they're going to do the biggest open voted one is obviously the question, because, you know, they could say, oh, well, we can't get a license for Bleach, but we'll go to the next best thing. That could be the case. We don't know. So for now, let's try and maintain, because we're halfway through the battle. We've already made Bleach number 1. Let's keep it at number 1. Right, that's the other half of the battle. If we can do that, unfortunately, we don't have an expiry date, but let's just keep it up there. Let's try and keep promoting it. Let's make the gap bigger. Yeah, let's just hope that Bleach gets a game within the year or next year, and hopefully this creates a spiral effect. Anything else, Clyde?
Hello? Yeah, I'll buzz you in now.
And apparently Clyde's Uber Eater's here. So, with that being said, we are going to leave it off there. Tell us, of course, your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And, of course, click on that vote and let's get Bleach back. But with that being said, I'm going to catch you motherfuckers later. You guys, of course, have this fine day being Hansen. And as always, people, get your Uber Eats. Peace out.